Is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology retold action. Spawning on the left side of the map, top left side of the map, in the blue color, playing as Set. His name is Magic. In the bottom side of the map, in the purple color, because he feels like it, playing as Thor. His name is Ulysses. Ulysses the Great, Ulysses the Wise, Ulysses the picking Thor on Marsh for all of the extra hunt he can potentially be eating. In the middle of the map here, the big part of this map is Dar's Scepter with that wooden gold cost minus 25%. Over here, we've also got ourselves that Pygmalion statue. Villager hit points plus 40% here as well. Over onto this side, we've got the Tale of Cerberus here with the special attack recharge time, minus 25% of base. Up to this top position here, we have ourselves that Gungnir Odin Spear. This one is absolutely huge, boosting up those Herdman and Spearman damage. Scales Catoplophar's is going to be reducing that damage vulnerability to Pierce there as well. And I'm not sure if we've recognized this one already, but Armor of Achilles here. So some very, very good relics in the center of the map. Going to be vitally important to go for those. As in the main base here for Magic, what is he going for to kick this game off? It looks like he's going for a very, very quick pickaxe. Has his monument to the villagers down. So this basically means he's not going to be rushing anything here. He's going to be going for a slower advance time, taking his time here to kind of get started. Maybe he wants to go for a town center here. Maybe he wants to go for 2 town centers here. Maybe he wants to go for multiple monuments. Maybe he wants to get out a whole bunch of priests. There's a lot of different angles that you can take as Set to kick this sort of a game off. Onto this position down to the bottom here. We've already got that Dwarven Armory up, as Ulysses is going to be just getting himself out all the armory upgrades. If we take a quick look here, he's already got himself the Copper Mail upgrade. He's also now going in for that Copper Shields upgrade. And every single time he gets one of these ones out, he will be obviously getting himself a dwarf. This is unique to Thor, and one of the big bonuses for him, as I'm sure he's going to be wanting to get up to that classical age nice and fast to be harassing the center of this map as best as he possibly can. Nonetheless, we see a whole bunch of houses coming down here for Magic as he's trying to build a nice little wall into his base here, preventing the gold mine and wood line from getting harassed from the left side. I like this idea. He's also got the temple coming up to the top side, really trying to build his base in nice and tight. And he is taking a very, very delayed approach to the second age. Already villagers onto wood for this point as well does indicate to me that he wants to be going for Wadgets here. He's probably going to be advancing through Ptar. There he goes. And it's going to be Wadgets. It's going to be a delayed advance time. And I mean, funnily enough, on the other side of the map here for Ulysses, he's taking a very, very delayed route to the classical age as well. He doesn't care about anything quick at the moment. He's now going to be going through Forseti. He's getting himself that Hammer of Thunder. Just super late angle here for Ulysses. And to be honest, with Magic also going for the later advance, he does get away with this in a big way. Villager advantage is already at 3, about to be at 4. Following up with the copper weapons, it'll be a 5 villager advantage cooking up right now for Ulysses. As Ulysses now is going to get himself out the hearse, so look forward to grabbing himself some relics in the center of the map. We've already got Magic in the front here, grabbing the Water Buffalo. We see a monument to the villagers getting dropped down, preparing for some barracks, most likely here. As the hearse are going to move forward and grab that relic before pulling back home. Into the main base over here, we see Magic just roaming around with a ball, looking for things to harass, things to see. Maybe not harass. If he gets spotted here, it might be lights out for the ball and a little bit of food over into Ulysses' base. So he will be retreating back. Also, the ox cart's out, and now second age is in for Ulysses. He's going to be ready to just drop some buildings, and where he drops them is going to be really telling. Backside of the base here, we see the Ulysses longhouse coming in as Vision getting dropped down for Magic, and this is what he sees. He sees a longhouse, and that's about it. Units for Magic now going to start moving forward. This is very, very early here. You can get caught out in a big way. The Wadget's incredibly slow. Herser can come through and get that damage done and clean this one up, but 3 barracks are already up. We see a whole bunch of Axemen queued up there for Magic as he's going to slowly start to push forward. Healing Spring coming through. Villager's going to get harassed down as the Herser. Got to keep yourself at arm's length, so to speak, as a Pharaoh also coming forward here to say, I don't even need to have that one here in the slide, as the Wadget still getting some good damage done. That Troll gets hit with some spit, going to be able to survive for the time being, as the Wadget still baiting and shooting and all the good stuff. Dwarves getting pushed back. In the back of the base, however, Ulysses does indeed have some hippopotamus. So I'm a bit surprised he's not on them at the moment, as the villager gets pushed back. Still, the Wadgets, where are they? He's got a second one is coming in. Okay, so Magic is buying these basically as soon as he can afford them for the time being. Spearmen also starting to come through as well, as the units now for Magic swinging around onto this side. The Dwarves will have to pull back. The gold mine is out in the open here, but it's almost 100% mined out. So in a way, this is completely fine for Ulysses to just abandon it and just jump onto pigs or whatever he really wants to here. As Magic pokes forward, more Herser coming through, throwing Axemen as well. One Dwarf will be going down there, I think. Once it pops out of that tower, we'll know for certain here. Nope, it's still alive. 19 HP, going to get pulled back. Now that Dwarf does fall. It basically gets 4 shot by the Wadgets. Dwarves do. Villagers get 3 shot by those Wadgets. It's absolutely insane. Obviously, with the healing spring, you might be able to survive from a huge amount of shots there from the Wadget. But this is exactly what Magic actually needs in order to kind of create some equilibrium in terms of the economy, as Dwarven Mine getting dropped down into the main base, and Magic is just going to be backing off here. As the units all coming through up onto this spot, another Wadget now joining in, and you know, Magic is seeing this quite a bit. The only thing that I think is missing at the moment is Obelisk. This is the next part of the set sort of game plan, is to just know what your opponent's doing at all times and never get caught out with your army, as Magic slowly trying to push forward. He's still a little bit scared of those towers, doesn't want to take too much free damage here, as Ulysses is just massing up an army. He's doing a great job of getting these units out. The raiding cavalry, I'm not sure exactly how much those are going to help for the time being here for Ulysses. I'd really like to see a mass amount of throwing Axemen out to deal with those Axemen, and then when the fight actually ensues, you just rush the Herser through, make sure that the throwing Axemen are taking out those Axemen, and maybe, just maybe, you can pull through, especially with the armory upgrade advantage. But Magic is now going to be taking the opportunity here to get himself that copper weapons. Ulysses on the other side is saying, all right, it's time for the heroic age, as a great haul going to come down, and this will give Magic a lot of opportunity here to continue putting pressure on, because Ulysses just won't have the resources to keep himself in an advantageous position. But with flaming weapons on the board, and with the potential for another Dwarven Mine to be cast at 50 favor, it could be possible here for Ulysses to simply just stay safe. But Magic has now found himself a really, really nice entrance into the base of Ulysses, and Ulysses has to pull back. Is this dwarf going to fall? Yes, it does. As Matrius, where's Magistris? Magic here, charging forward, taking out a dwarf. He's completely in. He basically sees the Bragi coming in with the lack of units in on this spot. Dwarves falling aplenty here. Magic is completely not caring about the town center fire or the tower fire, because he is getting damage dealt. Wadgets might get a little bit caught up on this position, but it looks like it's not going to matter. Magic pulls back. He gets a couple of shots off onto that dwarf, and now that dwarf is going to be falling as well. The dwarves can come down onto the bottom gold mine here as well, which could be a nice bait for a shifting sands in order to allow a flaming weapons to come through without any sort of retreat path there. But there's the Bragi in. Villager differential is now fairly in favor of Magic, but you also have to remember that the town center has been busy for 75 seconds. So while the villager differential looks like it's in favor of Magic, it is not in favor of Magic in a real sense, because Magic will be going to the heroic age at some point, and Ulysses will be able to catch back up at that point there, though. When he goes is the point that matters. As the next question really for Magic is, do you stay classical age? Do you go Heroic Age. You stay Classical Age and mass units up to full pop, or do you go to the next one? As the army still poking its head in. Look at this. He's 4 favor away from getting to... He's 4 favor away from getting to the heroic, to the gold mine. To the Dwarven gold mine. And he's on this gold at the backside for the time being here. So he's going to be able to get some more units out. Ulysses, for the moment, he just wants to hold. He doesn't need to do anything here. As we see, the battle ball can clean up this obelisk as well. And Magic's perspective here, he basically has to know the villagers are on that back gold mine there. And now the favor, is in. And Ulysses has actually got through the early game. Ulysses is in a fantastic position now. Ulysses is dropping the town center on this spot as well. Magic here has to figure out something to do with this army, and quick. Because sooner or later, it's going to be Ulysses with Jarls. It's going to be Ulysses with Herser. It's going to be Ulysses with Thrown Axemen. And it's going to be an army which Magic is just not going to be able to defeat unless he has perfect control with them. Even with perfect control, Ulysses can also just completely smack it with the flaming weapons. As house is coming down, the priest will be noticing what's happening over here. And now Magic has to say, oh, I got to pull back. I can't do anything. He sees a town center. Okay, he's going Heroic Age. All right, so it's... The game is very, very different here. This is not what you normally see in this matchup. With Ulysses able to secure this gold mine, with Ulysses having 62 favor in the bank, this means he's got another 9,000 gold to play with effectively in this game before needing to move out into the next stage of the map. So Magic, he's got to play for the next stage here. He's still making Axemen. How many Spearmen does he realistically have in this army? Not a lot. So these Jarls will end up being very, very useful moving forward, but he does kind of reveal them over to Magic, and now Magic is going to go, all right, well, I better get some Spearmen out to deal with these bad boys, as the Herser slowly starting to move forward. Can he get any serious damage done, though, with them? As Ulysses, he's saying it's time to go. The Wadgets have been caught out of position. Flaming Weapon's going to get dropped down. The army needs to kind of shifting sands away, but it looks like Magic is saying, I have to take this fight. The Wadgets have not had the Herser able to get through just yet. The Axemen are actually targeting down a battle ball for the time being, as the Herser are going to be able to clean up those Wadgets really, really quickly. Magic needs to get those Axemen to target down the right units here, but it looks, after all is said and done, that Magic will be able to barely hold after this Flaming Weapons push. Heroic Age is in now, and Magic can move in to an Ancestors push moving forward, but a lot of favor has now been generated for Magic in this one, for Ulysses in this one, as Magic, I mean, he's got no myth units left. All the myth units are cleaned up. The Wadgets are no more. Yes, there's going to be Scorpion Men, but the army quality of Ulysses is just going to continue to get better and better and better in this game. Can Magic hold this center position or not is the big question. We're seeing Goaty coming out. We've got a couple of priests out to deal with the battle ball as well, as the Migdol Stronghold comes through, and we are going to be seeing Camel Riders as the unit of choice out of that. Axeman Camel Rider, that's a composition which is very, very challenging for the Thor player to find an answer to. I've theory crafted that maybe throwing Axeman mass is the answer, but I haven't actually been able to test it in a real game or not to see if that's actually the case. And now Magic is going to be searching around for something to shifting sands onto potentially. You can just hold it for a later position. Ulysses, on the other hand, he's still got that Mythic Age power spike behind him. And if he can sneak forward onto this town center, which Magic doesn't have vision on, he might be able to steal that for himself, and he might be able to cause a lot of problems moving forward, as we're starting to see the raids kicking off, villagers turning around. They do not have themselves any upgrades through in terms of no Big Malian statue, no survival equipment here to boost the HP. So Raid's very, very effective at this stage of the game with those Jarls. But the Jarls are unupgraded, so not that big of a deal. There's another Migdol Stronghold going to come up, and we're going to see even more of those incredibly powerful units starting to come through, as we do see Chariot Archers on the way here as well. Magic's just going to be giving himself a crazy amalgamation of units to push forward in this game, as the hill fort up for Ulysses here as well. So the unit's going to pull back, just jump onto that healing spring, and where to next? Tier. Tier is next, as Ulysses here, if he can get to the Mythic Age and then drop himself another Dwarven Mine, he can just sit back and just hold for it. Oh, that's a different option. that is a different option indeed. That's Balder. That's not Tyr. This is going to be very all in for Ulysses. I've seen Balder working against Atlanteans. I've seen the Ragnarok work. I have seen the Ragnarok work against an Egyptian player before. But Magic has already got himself out a whole bunch of Axemen. So the idea here for Ulysses might not be, I want to click Ragnarok. It might be, I want Fire Giants, or I want Sons of Slipnir for the raiding cavalry to get some boosts, as we see some Camel Riders now deciding it's time to enter the main base here. Dwarves going to be getting sniped down here. This is exactly what Magic needs to be doing at this point, as Magic as well can start thinking about going to the Mythic Age. He does, unlike Ra and Isis, he doesn't have access to Son of Osiris, so having a defensive, ridiculously strong unit is not going to be available to him, as the Camel Rider is simply just going to be pulling back here. And Thoth is the god of choice, but it will be delayed to some degree, as Balder is going to be hitting first. Though, I mean, what happens after this? I mean, obviously a meteor on this base is going to be absolutely devastating. So the houses there, the farms there, villages are all around this spot. There's also farms over on this spot, as we do see a Dwarven Mine getting clicked while going to the Mythic Age. So, I mean, this is making me feel like this is actually going to be a Bragi, not a Bragi option, but a Balder option here. And over here, we've already got a whole bunch of Axemen. How many barracks does Magic have? Only 3. Only 3 barracks. The Camel Riders on the back, just making sure that nothing's coming his way, defending as best as he can. Longhouse is coming up onto the front as Magic is slowly poking his face forward here. We've got the Swine Array technology coming through as well in an effort to kind of create some answers to mass camels or mass elephants, or even to some degree the chariot archers with those herbmen, but he doesn't have a single herbman out. He's now starting to build them. I told Light there is a single herbman out as he is building those through. And Ulysses sneaks forward onto the town center. He's going to be attempting to grab that one for himself as Balder comes through. Chariot Archer's going to be getting a little bit of that shoot and scoot micro happening. Ancestors gets dropped down onto this position as the unit's going to come up to grab the town center in the center of the map. The minions not going to be chasing just yet, and now they do go, but is it too little too late? Camel Riders coming in up to this side over here to try and take down these units. You've got to kill every single one of those infantry units, and we do see that Ulysses decides to turn around as on this position as well. We are seeing the priest taken out of battle board. Does he have himself Nebty? I don't think he's got that Nebty technology through just yet. Fire Giant could be getting a huge amount of value here as the town center gets denied. As the army charges forward now, Fire Giant pulls back. The priest not quite microing on this location just yet, as the forward army does look like it manages to get sniped down in a big way. As into the main base, we see the meteor getting charged in onto this spot, taking down houses, taking down units here as well. And there we see Ulysses going for the Ragnarok, as he's got 231 population after the dust settles here. Magic gonna have to pull back. Magic throwing barracks down. Magic should be considering to make a whole bunch of axemen through here. He's got a whole bunch of chariot archers as well, as the Rag heroes can start moving forward. He can actually get that town center up still. It was not cleaned up there, as the chariot archers can start shooting, scooting on this front. You see how much damage they can actually do here, but if the heroes of Ragnarok get close enough, they do so much damage, and we... Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Magic, Ulysses. First game going to Magic. He is in the right-hand corner of the map right now, playing as Ra. On the left-hand side of the map, we do have Ulysses here. So, first game going pretty well over to Magic. Able to control the game with his Ra, make that work in a big way. Second game here, will it play out in similar fashion, or is it going to be much of the same? That's the big question here. Now, I personally really like this map here for Norse. You got all the open angles to get raids off and all the other good stuff that can happen there. Make a whole bunch of raiding cavalry and work with that. But you do have to be worried about Sphinx. You do have to be worried about Wadgets. And in the end of the day, it kind of all just comes down to positioning and taking a really good fight. The hard part is you don't have access to Bragi, but you do have access to Frost, which in a way is arguably better than Flaming Weapons for Norse. The reason why I say that is effectively the hardest part of a fight for Norse against the Ra or the set is dealing with the Wadgets, because you can't get onto them. If you can be on top of Wadgets with your Herser, they're going to die, right? So if you frost the army, then you can get your Herser into position to actually kill the Wadgets off really quickly. Whereas Flaming Weapons, you might lose your Herser while they're trying to walk forward and before they can even get a shot off. So we'll see how things are going to go here. I have forgotten to do the predictions, so let's quickly just run some predictions for our Betteroonie guys here. As we see the temple coming up, Magic, he's going for a stock standard advance time yet again. He's got that monument to the villagers down. He drops a granary over onto the berries. Berries do gather as fast as hunt. And I like this idea here, in all honesty, from Magic, just for the fact that he's cutting down on walking time. This hunt is going to finish up, and he's already going to have some villagers over here. Instead of having to send them this way and then send them over this way, he's kind of just cutting down ever so slowly. So it's going to be just the tiniest bit of economic advantage for him, as we do also see a monument coming down. Nope, decides against it in favor of maybe advancing first and foremost. As Dar going to be coming through as well. Up onto this position here for Ulysses. He is going to be going through Freya. And again, he takes the longer angle, going for a later advance time. We see some houses coming up onto this spot to try and defend, but if Wadgets come in and poke this, life is kind of over for Ulysses before it even starts. He hasn't defended this with a temple. He hasn't tried to build any walls. This map here for Ulysses is looking very disastrous, to say the very least, to kick this game off. There's a Herser going to be moving forward, trying to build out as much as they can. He can come and snipe down these obelisks and everything before the game kind of kicks off. And before Magic can put any serious pressure on. Magic did go for a 4:15 advance time, so we will be able to start putting pressure on really early. Already has 3 villages on wood to start pumping out those Wadgets, but only 2 monuments up means he's only got a sort of finite amount of those, as we're seeing yet again exactly how Magic likes to build his base. He gets 16 houses all underneath the monuments, protecting just a couple of towers here and getting everything working, as we see a barracks getting dropped down with 2 villagers on both of these, and the Pharaoh with that empowerment on the monument is going to boost those up very quickly to get going, as the Valkyrie comes through, takes out 1 monument. Up onto this side, let's take a quick look at Magic's line of sight. Doesn't really see a whole lot here, but he does notice the Great Hall getting dropped down onto that position, as the Valkyrie coming through, going to snipe down an obelisk over here. Herser coming through as well. As he's just looking to grab this relic. What is the relic down here that's so important? Nose of the Sphinx. I mean, it's an interesting one. We see the Axeman's going to be coming through as well. Speed-wise, the Herser should be able to dodge this. As a couple of shots from an Axeman, it's now not going to be able to catch up to it once it gets back to full speed. But look at Magic. He's trying to get those Axemen in to sort of intercept the Herser, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. The Herser is away, and Ulysses charges forward with the Valkyrie to get a little bit of damage done onto these Axemen here. The Valkyrie will take a huge amount of damage from the Wadget. It might not be a terrible idea to try and charge in and kill off the Wadget as well, but one Axeman might fall at the start of this game, as medium Axeman coming through too late, as the Valkyrie manages to survive. And we are seeing, as the game now kicks off to the next point, raiding cavalry coming out, and they are already medium raiding cavalry as well, as the distraction action for Ulysses is going to have to be incredibly strong here to make anything happen. As the army of magic, it's looking very scary here now moving forward. 3 Wadgets and a bunch of axemen to start charging in. And we are back. Dealing with technical difficulties is always challenging. Raiding cavalry getting sniped there by magic as he's going to slowly start to push forward. And we see the walls up with the house and the buildings as well, but these Wadgets do not care about your walls. The axemen are going to be able to cover on this spot as well. 1 dwarf getting taken down. The berserk on this position also looks like it's going to be getting taken down as well there from that poison, as the Wadgets yet again focusing down the villagers from over yonder. Raiding cavalry trying to take units out onto the back, as the Valkyrie will be able to do so, but he can't get an engagement on the front. Does not have the throw an axeman available here, as magic is making these Wadgets look absolutely oppressive. One idea here for Ulysses would just be to delete these houses and then go through the center here to get onto the Wadgets, but Ulysses at some point he will absolutely need to go. He's still doing a great job of picking off straggler units to prevent these units from coming forward here, but the village differential right now is absolutely stark at this point. The raiding cavalry charging forward for Ulysses is going to take a lot of damage from those Wadgets here, as the raiding cavalry Valkyrie situation on the front is getting a little bit not enough, so to speak. Is the Valkyrie going to come through here to try and help out? But moving into this next portion of the game, Magic's army is only getting stronger here. These Wadgets, they're not really getting sniped down. One more Wadget is going to be coming through. I mean, he is limiting the numbers here, as another Valkyrie will be a big assistance, as the units are going to come back in. 2 Valkyries to try and take out these Wadgets is going to be absolutely huge, as the forest fire gets dropped down, and the army now says it's time to go here. Wadget's going to get blocked up. The Herser need to get in and target those Wadgets down. Good micro there from Ulysses to pull back, but the Wadgets are just so obscenely strong with the help of the Axemen to just clean up those Herser. This one looks like it's going to be getting finished up very quickly here. The Herser goes down. Valkyrie charging forward to take out the Wadgets on the back here as well, as there's nothing going to be remaining here for Ulysses. And in that moment, Magic does claim victory, as Ulysses not able to overcome the Wadget menace here. And we'll be moving on to game number 3 momentarily. Game number 3 is on the way, ladies and gentlemen. In the right-hand side of the map, in the blue color, playing as Hades. His name is Magic. His opponent today in the left-hand corner of the map, playing as Kronos. His name is Ulysses. I just love that name. It's such a strong name. What a time to be alive, as Ulysses is going to move up to the top corner there, going to be chopping down that wood. We see the villagers over here onto the gold, and it's looking like, to me, he's going for a standard advance time. So no crazy kind of shenanigans to be happening in this one. But the question is really, what is Magic going to have to do? Because he's going to be thinking in the back of his head, well, he knows that there's this early rush that comes down. He's already dropped the Sentinels to ensure that everything is looking hunky-dory in his base against any sort of early pressure. But he's also looking like he's going for a fast Vaults of Erebus build to some degree here. As he deletes the temple, he's going to be pulling this one back, leaving that front space open. Bit of an interesting decision there. But in going for this later advance time, you are also you're kind of making life a little bit challenging for yourself against any sort of a rush. Even a 330 rush is still going to be a little bit of a pain for you to deal with if these are going to be automatons. Now, if it's Prometheans, it's not as big of a deal if it's Prometheans. Reason being is what? Well, Prometheans have only got 25% pierce armor, whereas automatons have got 60% pierce armor, so they can tank a lot of time while sitting under trying to snipe villagers and all the other good stuff that happens there. Nonetheless, we'll check out the relics on the map. There are 6 that spawn. We've got that Tearfing Angantir's sword over here with a plus 10% bonus damage, or not bonus damage, but lifesteal. Pandora's box over here, favor. Going to be reduced on those myth units. That's huge. That's huge over there for our Kronos player. It's also really good for magic as well if he wants to go into Minotaurs. Over here, we've got Ship of Fingernails, which is going to be food trickle rate plus 0.5. Another really good relic for both players. On this one, Chariots of Sabel. Super strong relic for magic in the start of the game, but really far away from him. Gambantine, Odin's Wand, another huge relic there to get some sort of huge bonus, getting some unique upgrades for your myth units there. Thunder Cloud Shawl in this position, not going to be the most important for the early stage, but definitely can help later on. As Athena is queued up, it's going to be a 4:15 advance time versus Prometheus, which is going to be a little bit later. And the big question is, behind all of this is a late advance time to some degree here for Ulysses. Are we going to see mass oracles getting created here? I'm yet to see them coming in. Ulysses here, it looks like he's going to be playing somewhat stock standard opening as he time shifts the temple forward. Not crazy far forward, but not super far back as the Ajax. How lucky can Magic be here? Ajax moving forward will be spotting the temple here and also spotting an oracle as he's going to start taking that down. Sees that temple. He probably should pull back and have something to deal with the Promethean as they're going to immediately start sending them forward here. Do we see the immediate alluvial clay? It doesn't look like that's going to be coming in straight away as Valor gets dropped down immediately there onto a villager, popping out onto this town center. It looks like Ulysses, he's going for the stock standard. Put a little bit of pressure on and get yourself a town center. A little cheeky house comes down to path block over here as the Minotaur is through to send these Prometheans packing, and there's just too much defense on this spot. This Magic has also been very greedy over here. He's grabbing those Aurochs. Ulysses hasn't spotted it just yet. Villagers in the main base for Magic. He's getting himself out an Achilles as well. I don't see him going for a town center at this point, as we also see the Ajax is over here to just spot a little bit of stuff here. The Valor comes through and the Ajax has got to leave, checking out into the corner of the map, potentially looking for some relics here and looking for everything else, but he sees 2 town centers, and then what? What's Magic's next plan? I'm sure he's played against this a bunch, and he knows exactly how much economy this gets the Kronos player moving forward. The Achilles is now out. That can put some pressure on. Minotaur is just hanging out onto this spot as the Promethean offspring's checking around. Just going to hang out on the back of the base here for the time being. Onto the front position here. We see the villagers are going to be grabbing that food there. Doing what they can. There's a Katoskopos. Checking around for things. Achilles now going to be charging forward as the citizens getting pushed off of that forward wood line. The pressure is now starting them out as we also see watchtowers coming through. The town center does a lot of damage here. Achilles also going to be charging forward to get every little bit of damage possible. Whole bunch of Prometheans sitting on this town center though will be putting a little bit of a delay in the Magic step here moving forward, as Ajax might get taken out, and maybe that's not a bad thing because he's going to need them to come over here and deal with these Promethean offspring. 7 villagers can turn around, can face those Promethean offspring here as Ulysses is going to immediately start harassing these villagers down. Magic not paying attention just yet. He loses 1 villager. He's about to lose 2 villagers here as well, as Magic, he's going to lose this one over here. He retreats back and decides to delete the town center. 2 villagers going down. The Promethean offspring are absolutely huge here, as do we see any sort of Ajax coming through? No, another villager manages to keep itself alive as the villagers now retreat back, and 1 very low HP Promethean offspring remaining there as the Achilles returns back onto this spot, and Magic comes back over to get the town center, and Ulysses is going to hide off in this spot. Ulysses has gotten every single little bit of advantage that he needs here to kick this game off. Huge amount of damage coming onto the town center. Might even be able to deny that as well, as the Achilles needs to hang over here And he's just going to be waiting. And the Minotaur is through. Gets a big amount of damage there with that headbutt. Picking off 2 Promethean Offsprings is the final one going to be getting taken down. In the main base, it's now double counter barracks for Ulysses. He's getting houses down. He's getting the temple down as well. And can Magic pull himself back from this position is the big question. He's got Hump behind this town center. He's got gold mines on both sides of his base, so he can do the little swing from one side to the other to try and keep himself alive. He can also jump onto this gold mine nice and early and start walling this up. As Magic starts to push forward here with just a handful of units, but we also see Theft of Fire wanting to come through. And the other thing about this map for Kronos here is if you take a look, oracles all around the outsides, very, very tough to kill. Very, very tough. Achilles going to be coming into the main base, looking for some villager kills here as well. Tower just going to be getting, take a little bit of damage there, but he's going to be able to get away. And now Magic just going to be pulling back. No problems. So it looks like Ulysses knows this Minotaur is over here. Does he spot it? He does spot it. He is going to be chasing that Minotaur down. He's got that one hero Terma, which will get huge amounts of damage done here as Ulysses chases into the Oblivion. But while that's going on, we will be seeing an Oracle getting sniped down. There's no Valor available for the time being, so that Oracle might go down here. He's going to be diving for the mana. Does manage to get into it. And Magic going to continue to be very, very active with his units here. The Minotaur almost down in the main base here for Magic. He's got an armory up. He's just going straight to the heroic age. He's trying to put as much pressure on as he possibly can without having to do anything military speaking, because he knows how important this heroic age is to him. Getting up to Hoplite Peltast is going to be a really, really big deal. And there we go with Aphrodite. No, Apollo. Aphrodite coming in. He makes the decision. He goes, I'm going Apollo. Oh, no, I'm not going Apollo. I'm going Apollo. No, I'm not going Apollo. I'm going Aphrodite. On the other side of the map here for Ulysses, he's quite away from getting to the next stage. He's throwing farms down. He's playing very, very safe with his villagers. He's still got chickens left. He's about to finish up on those goats here as well. Up onto this left side of the map here, the villagers are grabbing Aurochs, but the question is, what is he actually going to be needing to grab? As the Terma come through, they're not going to be able to do a whole bunch of damage here. Getting a little bit of pressure onto the Ajax, but then pulling away. And now we see the obvious option here for Magic. Double Military Academy, double Archery Range, and that's all he needs. And now we see that Ulysses is starting to cook up on these oracles. He's got himself 6. 1, 2, 3. He's not, doesn't have them in the best position here. 4, 5, 6. And these are going to get him so much favor. Now, if we had these out much earlier, he would obviously be floating a ton of favor, but instead going in for something just slightly different, and it's still going to be big for him as Hyperion is coming through, lots of resources in the bank. And the big question is, what sort of units do you go for here as Ulysses? You see the barracks, you see the archery range. There's the curse coming down, stealing the goats or the pigs here to come back home as well. That's going to be a big amount of food help for him as the Terma pull back. We've got that Sarissa immediately coming through. This only applies to hoplites. There's a whole bunch of those Hapaspits going to come in just in case, but Ulysses hasn't committed to anything just yet. He can go for Mamilla, he can go for Contarius, he can go for Arcus here. And Magic just needs to confirm that before he really goes too hard onto anything. Also grabbing that Golden Apples technology there to boost his favor generation. He's only got 1 villager on the favor at the moment, but I assume with that technology does come a lot more stuff, as Magic is now going to be looking for a huge amount of pressure at this point. He's realizing exactly what Ulysses is doing and how far, they're not behind Ulysses is, but how late Ulysses is to the heroic age. There's the heroic age coming through, and Magic is going to say, all right, time to pull back ever so slightly. Chaos gets dropped down, and that's exactly what Magic wants to see there. These units here, he's not going to care about too much. Restoration comes through after the Chaos is finished up. The army going to be continuing to put pressure on. As Magic going to pull back ever so slightly. Citizen over here looks like it will be getting sniped down. Nope. Good garrison micro from Ulysses as the Peltas going to take down these Terma incredibly fast. We've also got Contarius coming through, the Mimilo coming through. Lots of favor in the bank for another Chaos if need be. But Magic, at this point, still trying to stay out of range of the Terma. Does decide to pull back. Great control thus far as the Nemean Lion going to be going down on the front here. And, I mean, Magic's got to be careful overcommitting on these Peltas. Because I do see some Terma coming through, but I don't see any Arcus coming through just yet. And this is always the hard part about playing Greek in this matchup, is you have to react exactly to what your opponent's doing. If you just go for a 50-50 unit composition of Hoplite Peltash, your opponent can go 100% into Murmillo or 100% into Contarius and then try and actually take a nice fight. Toxotes coming through. We got that Chiron on the way as well, as the Terma getting caught out in a big way here from Magic. Great little kills here for him as he is slowly trying to inch his way back into the game. But Ulysses, his economy is getting sent to the moon here. And there's one thing in this game which Magic, no matter how good you are, you have to prepare for it. And being behind is really hard to prepare for it. And what is that? That's Implode. We see the Atlas queued up. It's not just queued up, it's clicked through. And Magic's army is going to be eviscerated from this. Now, for me, the way to kind of play around this is twofold. One, you split your army up. And two, you don't go to the Mythic Age. Because you need to have those resources in the bank to pump units back out to defend yourself. So you get yourself the heavy upgrades. You get yourself about 10 to 15 military buildings so you can spam stuff out once your units all die to the Implode. And then you're able to start defending it. And then you play the Heroic Age against the Mythic Age, and you just try and hold, and then eventually you're going to be able to get to the Mythic Age, and eventually you'll be able to win a fight and win the game. It's a difficult position to be in, and Ulysses knows it. He is just sitting back, just waiting for his time to shine here. As the Contarius slowly starting to push forward here. Temporal Chaos as well going to be coming through for Ulysses as he wants to start getting a whole bunch of that time shift shenanigans. I haven't seen this technology get researched too much. It's pretty expensive. 300 resources, 10 favor. But now, we are seeing Artemis coming through. This is going to be dangerous for Magic. Very, very dangerous for Magic because his army is going to get sucked up. He's playing defense. He doesn't have restoration here. Ulysses is getting close to 190 pop. Magic's starting to push out. We'll see if he's going to be able to split up his army here and at least avoid some of the implode. But Ulysses got his eye on this position as well to suck in those villages to boot. As Ulysses charges forward, just trying to see exactly what's here. He will be seeing this position, deconstructing the fortress, imploding straight down. No garrison allowed here. Not that it matters, as the villagers will be pulling back out on this spot as they all get pulled through. And look at that population absolutely get eviscerated there. And the building's also taking a huge amount of damage as Magic now, he's got all the units queued up, trying to get them back up as fast as possible. Building-wise, 5 archer ranges, 5 military academies through. So it's a long time for Magic to get himself an army comp or any sort of army back up, but he will have Earthquake coming. He will have the Chimera coming. He does have 67 favor to build even more Chimera. As Ulysses, he's not putting his foot on the pedal here. The villagers moving up to the top side, trying to grab this gold mine. There's also the gold mine down on the bottom side as well, as Magic will see these units coming forward, and the differential in score is absolutely stark at the moment. Wall gets broken down. Units going to charge through. Villagers pulling back. We've got the army on the backside here now starting to come around as slowly but surely he's going to get that population back. But like I said, this is 1,000, 2,000 resources here that you need for an army to defend. The question is, will this Mythic Age actually be more of an assistance or not? Earthquake is going to hurt. Ulysses is going up to 4 town centers here. He's also going to have those Chimera, which should be a big assistance as Magic is trying to push back for the time being here. But where do you drop the Earthquake? Where do you put the villages? Fortress coming down on the left side here where the army is not. Great idea from Magic as he's going to spot those units in the middle. How many heroes here for Magic at the moment, though? He's got 2. Should be enough to take out those Argus. The Argus are very, very strong, though. We are seeing the Achilles getting picked up on the front here as well. As if anyone can pull this game back from the brink, it will be Magic. Chimera slowly starting to move forward here as well. As the walls are going to get broken down on the front, we see that the fortress will get spotted by a villager wandering forward here, and Ulysses is going to have to rotate over there. We see the Earthquake getting dropped down in the main base, taking down the towns, and it might take down an outward manner. I'm not 100% sure. The villager's trying to repair that town center back up, but will not be able to. And Ulysses has got plenty of resources here to rebuild this one, but a Chimera will be moving in here to attempt to kill off some citizens as well. Really stock standard play from Magic. Great play from Magic, though, as well as we see the Valor getting used here. Going to turn around and start shanking down the Chimera. The Chimera now moving on to its next target over here as well, as at least one citizen is going to go down. The units are now all moving on to this bottom position. Champion Cavalry is in. We've got the Shafts of the Plague Tech queued up as well as the army slowly starting to move over here. The villagers can dive into the town center here as the Chimera uses that burn, but not going to be able to deny the town center. It's going to be finishing up. Chimera leaves. Villagers are going to be pulling into the town center. We see the hoplites now starting to move over here and take these units out. Population differential is close for the time being in terms of military units. Ulysses for the moment, we see the secondary chaos coming down, but there's the deconstruction as well. Restoration is in to boot there as the Argus are going to be getting a lot of value here. Can Magic hold here or not is the big question with his incredibly strong Toxotes after all is said and done. But those Argus are still alive. We're going to be seeing the Chiron falling. The population is slowly starting to fall here for Magic as he does decide to pull away. Village is still sitting on the gold mine here as Ulysses is trying to pump units out. We've still got the Chimera causing problems in the main base there for Ulysses as Magic going to be able to pick off some of these myth units as well. And the villagers can now move back up onto this gold mine or over onto this gold mine. He's still got a lot of positions to go to, but a fortress going to get dropped back up immediately as the Satyr gets taken out, and Ulysses still not able to find that victory that he is so desperately in search of here. The Hoplite's going to get that damage. You've got to be super careful on that acid there. It does so much damage. He does pull back. Villagers on this position going to be taking some more damage here. There's no heroes remaining for Magic on this fight, which is going to mean the Satyr, the Argus, are going to do a crazy amount of damage. The fortress gets taken down. Magic going to be shanking here, but it's looking like his population is falling in a big way. Lots of villagers are going to be going down here as the unit's pulling back into the main base. We see that Flames of Typhon coming through for Magic, but does he have any Chimera coming at the moment? I don't see any on the map here either. I'm not sure what else Magic can do. He's got the villagers up onto the top gold mine. We see double Oracles checking out this position as well as they're going to get sent packing. Magic is the best at trying to cockroach these situations into an advantage here, but Ulysses, he's going to be going full population here. He's going to be getting fully upgraded units here as well, and Magic has just got such a monumental path or mountain, I should say, to climb here in this game as the villagers get spotted over here. Contarius is going to be getting those pushed away, and Magic as well, he's behind on villager count. He's behind on everything else, and I think in this moment, the game finishes up here, and Ulysses is going to be walking away with the victory. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got a game number 4 here. Ulysses not going away quietly in this game. Really, really well played here. If you guys enjoyed it, please consider the follow on Twitch. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next game. Game number 4. In the left-hand side of the map, playing as Zeus. His name is Magic. In the right-hand side of the map, in the purple color, playing as Gaia, it's Ulysses. And we are in game number 4, ladies and gentlemen. What a time to be alive. The map is Midgard. Ulysses just showed how good he is on the Atlanteans, taking Magic Hades out on Mount Olympus with it. Very, very solid play from him throughout the entirety of that game. Magic, on the other hand, I mean, he's so good at these sort of hybrid maps. I think these are sort of his bread and butter to some degree, because he's just so much decision making to go in. Do you raid on the water? Do you fight for gold? Do you build military units? Do you go for tech? All of these questions, I mean, you know, he's got answers for in the back of his mind because he's just got so much experience. Is he going to be dragging in those boars over here? Ulysses doing similar stuff onto the top side. Already 4 villagers or citizens on the docks. He's also got a citizen over here on those chickens. As the most important thing to do here with the fishing ships is to scout. It's so important. You need to know where to drop your second dock. Now, luckily here for both players, the bottom side, the top side, both of these are good for you to go to a second dock position. So it doesn't really matter. Though on this bottom side for Ulysses, he's going to be much more enjoying this side than the other one. And people can complain about map imbalance till the cows come home. But when there's something you can do to play around it, you must do it. And if you play around it, then there's no real problems if one person has got slightly better fish spawns than the other one, because you're just going to be able to deal with it with good scouting and good decision making in the game. That's my opinion on it, and I'm going to leave it there. Fishing ship's going to be coming up onto this position, going to be grabbing some salmon spots, and he will be able to send his villager over there to drop a dock momentarily. I'm sure that's exactly what he's going to do fairly shortly, as it looks like. Oh no, he's going to be going for the temple first. Lots of villagers on the gold, so he wants a little bit of a faster advance time. For Ulysses, though, temple now going to be coming down. Still doesn't have that second dock up. Only 4 villagers. I say only 4 citizens on wood here. But that's kind of like he's got 8 on wood. If you take a look, he's got about, I don't know. Well, it's probably a similar amount of wood income here for the time being. As Toskopos going to be searching around for potential oracles to pick off. There's relics in this map as well. Got that dwarven calipers. Probably not going to see that one get picked up any too early. Thundercloud Shawl is here as well. That one's going to be really, really nice to help out. Got that Trojan Gate hinge down the bottom. Going to be boosting up those wall hit points there. Not the most important of relics, but not too bad. And Blue Crystal Shard is here. That one's a big help. And now we see Leto for Ulysses. That's kind of a surprise. That is kind of a surprise, because this map with the boosted fishing economy, you can spam out food villages like no man. So food-based units like Mermillo, like Catapelti, like Contarius, all your very high-value units, you can spam them out super, super quick. The going in for Leto kind of indicates you want to be going for either I mean, maybe he wants to go for a defense on the second gold mine. A whole bunch of spider lairs around here. If your opponent goes for a bronze timing, he's going to have to walk over all those spider lairs, and then you're going to be able to kill off all those units that get bronzed. So that does make sense in a way if that's what he's going to be going for. There's now the Athena about to come through, and we see both upgrades in for Magic. He's got a couple of docks up the top, or one dock coming up at the top. There's one dock here as well. So we're going to be moving up around this position. He can keep building fishing ships if he so chooses. In the main base, we see a military academy. So he's not going for that immediate armory here at Fast Heroic. Just wants to make sure he's got that defensive ability as the Jason going to charge forward, take out oracles. This is so important. When you see Leto, when you see Prometheus, it's so important to find these oracles and try and snipe them down, but he's not going to be able to do so. The oracle gets saved to the manor. As we see double counter barracks now coming through for Ulysses. He's going to be making Terma at this point. As we see another military barracks coming down. Another military academy. 3 full hoplites, it seems, for Magic at the moment as he comes through, headbutts those citizens away. Then he's just going to pull back. Got to stay away from that hero Terma and keep himself in a nice position here. Sarissa coming in super early. We've also got that Heracles coming out as well as a first spider layer gets dropped down. I'm not exactly sure where he put it. Wait, let's see if we can see. I got no idea. Dusk Boss going after an Oracle, but that's going to get sniped down. Like I was saying, I think the best place to go for this is on like a second gold mine where your opponent might be getting a huge push in. But Ulysses is already grabbing a second gold mine nice and early. Very smart. Armory going to be coming through as well here as Ulysses. He looks like he wants to go next stage. He's going to be getting that hand axe and pickaxe. More fishing ships are going to be coming out slowly here. As the Jason's going to drop off that relic. He does get Pierce armor here from this, which is going to be huge against these Terma at this point as well. As Heracles charging forward, going to smack the Terma in the back over here. Hoplite's going to be pulling back as well. As a couple more houses going to come down. We see the villager getting pushed off of this position here. More villagers coming through. As the Heracles just going to pull all the way back up. And then what? Looks like the armory's not going to be able to get completed anytime soon. Another dot coming up as the fishing ships have come through down there. But still more can get produced here as Magic trying to dodge these Terma shots. Not going to quite be able to. Still has a little bit more. 1 second away. As the Hoplite's now charging forward. Now we can come in and kill this one. As Ulysses is just going to continue to shoot and scoot with those Terma. The important thing is to get out of range and then shoot. Otherwise, you're going to get caught up to and it's going to be a little bit challenging. 4.9 speed. Hoplites are pretty quick here. And the other thing is you can do is you can run over those spider layers to kill off the Hoplites. Can be very, very useful. As the armory is now up. Hero Terma's getting created as Magic. He's dodged one. He's not going to dodge the next one as the spider comes through, taking out one of those units here. Hoplites charging it onto the back as the Heracles is going to go straight onto this automaton over here. Only the one out for the moment here. Restoration getting dropped down super early by Magic in this fight. As over onto the backside here, the automaton will eventually get taken down. The Jason can go after the final automaton over here and does manage to kill that one off in 2 shots. Terma going to be retreating back up onto the top side, searching around for more units to kill off. We've got Kyra Ballister on the way as the Temple going to get sniped down to stop that automaton production and prevent the automatons from getting rebuilt here. But with Kyra Ballister, that is a really big thing to come through as the Hoplites charging in, going to attempt to take out some citizens on the back position. Hoplites are already onto those Kyra Ballister. Kyra Ballister without a front line, not that useful in the slightest, and Magic diving in underneath the town center for the time being. Terma coming back in to try and support here, and Magic in this moment will decide to pull out. There are too many Terma for him to deal with, and he might want to decide to go in with Hippias moving forward here. But for the moment, Magic is just like, I'm just going to go full Hoplites and see what happens. Like, why not? He's slowly starting to get close to getting to the next stage. Lots and lots of wood in the bank here. We can drop down on archery ranges and start going into Peltas to deal with these units on the back here as the Hoplite raids coming in. He spots one Oracle here, going to be able to snipe that out. As we see another Spider Lair coming down somewhere right over here. But Counter Barracks going to get sniped down on the back. That's going to slow down Ulysses quite a lot. Ulysses is struggling for gold as Magic is getting incredibly close to the next age here. He's got the resources for it now, but what is he going to go for? Does he go for Dionysus? Does he go for Apollo? Those are the questions as the Caraballis are going to get sniped down, and he does indeed decide to go for Dionysus here as the Hoplites are going to pull back out of this position up onto this location though. Hoplite raids coming through as Magic is incredibly active thus far with his units. An Oracle over here also going to get spotted as Magic going to be going for that one, but Ulysses pulls it back. Wait, as he's not garrisoning it though, as it does end up getting sniped down, and Magic can pull back now, and we can see that the Oracle numbers down to 3 for Ulysses, as Ulysses still making Terma against Hoplites. Not going to be the best of unit choices though. Those double Caraballister could be useful if you can get some frontline out as the Temple attempts to get knocked down, but with the towers up, the Caraballister in, it's going to be too much there. So Terma pulling back ever so slightly. We see a Hero Caraballister. No, I thought he was getting... Oh, he does. Hero Caraballister going to come through in an attempt to hold here. And with this Dionysus coming through, this is almost just like the keys to just simply walking in to Ulysses' base. You can just kill the town center and just say, good night. As another Oracle gets spotted, as the Hoplites coming over trying to pressure this gold mine here. The Terma are through with the Caraballis. Are going to be a challenge to deal with that. Another Spider Lair gets dropped down as well as the army charges in over here. Sees the gold mine has expired here as the Hoplites going to pull back over onto this spot. And now the Hoplites charging in. Bronze gets dropped down. Terma retreating back. A little bit of a misclick there from Ulysses. He's got all the speed in the world on this Gaia Lush with channels here, but this will mean that the gold mine is going to be exposed. But Heroic Age is coming through. Hoplites taking out citizens on this spot as the Caraballis are turning around, getting a lot of damage onto the back position here. We've got some more Hoplites coming through. I am yet to see the Hydra as it's slowly making its way over here. Units charging onto this back position. Using that forest there could be a good little position to kind of take a stand, but he's just going to be losing those Caraballister anyways. On the middle here is losing the Caraballister as well, as the Hydra can now sit on this gold mine and just prevent gold from coming in a really big way. Hoplites charging through, trying to take out the Caraballister as well. The Terma retreating away. Bronze now finished, but there's not that many units remaining here for Ulysses in this game, as the Hoplites taking out the Terma and everything else over here. We've got that Gaia Forest coming in as well. There's the Heroic Age. There's the Hesperid's Tree as well, as the Heracles is going to be attempting to take out the Dryad and everything else. The Stymphalian Bird flying overhead, seeing what it can do here to hold on, but not going to be enough, it seems, as the Heracles chasing that one down. Going to be able to take it out. There's also a bolt there as well. And in that moment, Ulysses taps out and Magic takes game number 4, moving on to the semifinals here. Dominating performance from Magic in this game, as Ulysses just could not work out how to deal with this mass hoplite idea from Magic. I mean, the idea that I think would work fairly decently here is you just go for mass Murmillos. Murmillos with Bite of the Shark seem like a really good option. And then you can also mix in a couple of Caraballister as well, just to hold on. And at least then you're forcing the Zeus player to do something else. But Magic got everything he wanted and more in this game. Takes the game, takes the win, moves on to the next series here, gets to the semifinals. As you can see, just the advantage just cooks in a really big way for Magic. If you guys are enjoying it, don't forget to the follow button. We're going to be moving in with Yo Dessler very, very shortly. We're going to set that up, have a little quick break here as we get that all sorted out, and we'll see you in the next one.